Pastor Mark, what is your greatest long-term fear about Mars Hill as it continues to grow?
Boy, that's a good question. I'm at the season where I'm super duper encouraged, really humbled by what God has done. I guess the things that I'm always worried about are for me, doing something to disqualify myself or discredit the gospel, like that would destroy me. So many people loving, giving, serving, praying, caring, that a guy in my position can really gum that up pretty easy if he becomes arrogant or unrepentant or unteachable. So I'm always praying for my own heart, like, keep me humble, keep me close to yourself, Lord Jesus, keep me close to Grace, my wife, keep me close to my babies, keep me close to our church, which quite frankly is one of the reasons I'm visiting the campuses and seeing people. I just don't want to be a conference speaker who flies in and talks and flies home. I want to be a pastor, and I want to be here, and I want to be with our people, and I want to be with my family. And so I think staying close to broken people, close to hurting people, still meeting with rape victims and single moms and abuse victims, and still being a pastor, it's really, really healthy and helpful for me in this season. I get to do some cool stuff. I get to fly in and preach to stadiums of 10,000 and, do some really cool things. But at the end of the day, I want to be the pastor at Mars Hill. I want to be the husband of Grace. I want to be the father of our 5 kids. And so part of it for me is always checking my own heart. Like, don't get too far from Mars Hill. Don't get too far from home. Don't get too far from Grace and the babies. Stay connected to where God's heart is and what God's priorities are, so that I have no intention, and I haven't done anything, but I'm always scared that I'm going to be the one that screws up what God is doing or gets in the way. I think as well, as we continue to add campuses, quite frankly, I think it showed up this year somewhat in the budget. It just gets complicated. One church in 10 locations with 20-some services and 10,000 people in 2 states. Like, my dad still changes his oil in his El Camino. I don't come from this massive management background. I'm learning as I go, and we've got a good team of leaders. But it is very complicated, especially when they're all growing at the same time, and there's 300 church plants on top of that, and we're working in 13 nations. Just the organizational complexity is one that we're always trying to struggle with. And I think my fear too would be that, that a campus or campuses kind of go rogue, meaning they care more about themselves than the whole, or they go off doctrinally. You're great and I love you and I trust you, so I can say this, but the real liability in the system as we built it is if the campus pastor really gets off track, because the people know the campus pastor, love the campus pastor, follow the campus pastor. As long as he loves Jesus and his wife and his church and is doctrinally, biblically sound, everything is great. But if he gets squirrely or sideways, then we've got liability. So you and I are probably the 2 biggest risk factors. So it's not going to be me, it's not going to be you. We'll make that deal, okay?